Welcome to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Solo. More than just a booking app, we're a community for independent pros in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to real stories of success from the industry's finest and share practical advice to help your business flourish. In today's episode, we're joined by Isabel Blake, a master biosculpture manicurist. Isabel takes us through her inspiring journey from working in a nail salon to launching her own thriving business. She shares how she leveraged Instagram during the pandemic to grow her brand, the importance of building strong client relationships, and some great tips on taking risks in your career. Welcome, Isabel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Why don't you kick off by kind of telling us how you started out? How did you get your first 20 clients? Where did it all begin?
So I first started, straight from college, I started working for Nails Inc. So back then they were really the only nail bar around, I would say, like big wise. Obviously you had the high street ones, but they were in all different department stores. So I used to work for them uptown, all in different shops, to be honest. I think I was there for about 5 years. And then I actually learned they used to use biosculpture when I worked for them. So that's how I got into biosculpture. And I always knew I'd want to start on my own eventually anyway. So while I was there, I trained in biosculpture. And then I was in a House of Fraser actually for the last year or two, and it shut down. I don't know if you remember House of Fraser had dealt. Yeah. So I didn't know what to do. And then a girl I worked with said, she thinks we were in the city at the time, in Bank near Cannon Street. And she was like, I think we should set up on our own up here, because there was no other nail shops there. The nail bar in House of Fraser was so busy anyway. So I was a bit it's a risk, but I lived at home at the time and I just thought if it's not now, it's never. So yeah, me and her set up on our own. I think that was 2018. Maybe the end of 2018. And we just rented a service office in a Regis building. So we didn't have to have a whole shop. We just rented that little service office. It's a set amount each month. We were quite lucky because we managed to get some clients to come over with us because we were literally around the corner from where we were before. So we was there for a while. That was going really well. And then COVID ruined it, basically.
That's what I was picturing. I could see the time.
Yeah, I'm bigging it up.
The office workers.
Yeah, we were in the worst place, really, because even when we had to stop for a bit. And then even when we were able to work again, the city was just dead. No one was in the office. Everyone was working from home. So we'd go in and we'd maybe have one client a day if we're lucky. I think it was March 2020, maybe January, February 2020, but to start March 2020, just re-signed for another year there. And so full 12 months, couldn't get out of it, had to pay for 12 months rent. So we sort of had to still go in and try and do clients and stuff. But yeah, it was hard because it was just too quiet. So once that year was done, we were like, we can't carry this on. We're going to have to, because it just never really got back to normal, the city. I don't think even now really, people work from home so much that it's better, but it's not as busy as it used to be.
It's a different world, yeah.
Yeah, completely different. So so then we stopped that, and I was quite fortunate because there was a salon near me, locally, that had just opened up a new salon next door to them, where they were just going to rent out spaces in the shop. So they were going to have a nail bar or a nail girl, a hair girl, and then beauty people. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I'm just going to have to go there. So I didn't have space to do it from home. I lived in a flat with my sister, but there was no spare room. Obviously didn't have a garden. So I'd done that, but obviously I had no clients because they were all from London or Essex sort of way. So yeah, I sort of had to start from scratch again, but I obviously had the experience of working for myself from the city, which I think was, everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? And I think it gave me that confidence to do it because I'd done it with someone. And then it meant when I went to go on my own, I sort of knew roughly what to do and whatnot. And I mean, when I started locally, the lockdown had just lifted. So everyone in the country needed their nails doing. People, I think, that go somewhere regularly, they sort of had an out to leave that place if they didn't like the nails they were getting or whatever, because they were I haven't been to them for a little while. So Yeah, and then when I was next door to the girls who own the shop, their salon, they obviously have loads of clients already. So they don't do nails in that salon. So all their clients started to come to me. So I was in a fortunate position in that sense. But yeah, I still had to start from scratch and build it up. But I've been there 3 years now. So yeah, it's going well.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, everything completely changed. Even personally, I know that, when I used to go into an office 5 days a week in central London, I get my nails done there. Now I go to somebody local. So the landscape.
Yeah. And it's good because people work from home. So locally, people can come in the daytime. Whereas I don't know, I mean, I didn't work locally before, but in local salons, they were normally just really busy evenings and weekends, weren't they? Because people had to fit it around work. Whereas now, like, majority of my clients will come in the day if they can and just sneak out of work or book a doctor's appointment or whatever they have to pretend to do to get their nails done.
Yeah. I mean, it's been great in that sense. It's really kind of spread out the clients regionally. It's not just kind of those big city centres where people get their nails done.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people go more for like independent nail techs now. I feel like it's become such a big thing, probably from Instagram, but even though I'm in a salon, they know I'm independent and it's like a small salon. So I think people go more for that now than like the high street ones.
Yeah, I think you're completely right with the Instagram angle, which kind of segues on nicely to your own Instagram presence.
Yeah.
You've built up an incredible following and, your engagement's brilliant. Your posts are just mesmerising. What was the strategy behind that? How did you decide what direction you're going in?
Yeah, I started it in lockdown. So when we weren't working, I think there was a lot of nail techs that were doing like Instagram masterclasses, not courses, but just like masterclasses. So they would just teach you like some different, and at the time nail art was such a big thing. I don't know if you remember, but like, yeah, that sort of few years, nail art was huge. So, and I didn't do a lot of nail art before that. So I'd done a few nail art courses through that. And I think, again, like during lockdown, when no one was working, like the Instagram community was quite like a big thing. Like everyone was, well, I guess we all just had more time on our hands, but everyone was interacting with each other and like sharing people's work, like posting other people's work, like just, I don't know, there was just a nice community feel to it. So I was in it a bit then. I can't remember when it was, but there was one post I'd done that just like blew up, and it's always the one you never think will. It was just, I think it was like a khaki set that had tips and a couple of dots. Like I would spend ages doing these fun nail art designs, and then that was probably the easiest one I've ever done. And I think it got like, I can't remember now, maybe like 900,000. Like, yeah, I can't remember, because then I'd done a reel to match it, and the reel or the video was literally just like, I moved my hand. I didn't film painting, nothing. And that just blew up. And I remember my following, I think I had less than 5,000 before that. And then by the end of that whole thing, it was like over 10,000. So that really like blew it up.
What do you think it was about that post? Have you worked it out?
It's not pot luck. Like you have to post regularly, but I think it's like if you post once a week, then your chances are less of it going viral. Or if you're posting 5 times a week, you've got 5 chances a week. I mean, they were nice nails, don't get me wrong, but like they were nothing special really. And I just think it just happens sometimes. That's why I think posting regularly is the important thing, because it just increases your chances, I guess. But yeah, and then I'll spend hours filming myself painting it and like getting all the angles, and then it flops and you think, how does this algorithm work? I don't understand. But yeah, that's how I got most of my followers, I'd say. And then I'd say from then it's been quite a like natural progression, which I quite like. It's not, I mean, I think I've got 16 now, so there's not a lot from the time, but I think it's been quite like natural.
That's such a good point that, it's obviously that quality content, but also the kind of pot-like aspect of a post doing well. The more posts you put out there, the more of a chance you've got of one doing well.
Yeah, just the probability of it is just higher. So I think you have to have both. You can't just post 5 times a week of rubbish content. It has to be a certain standard. But yeah, I do think it's just pot luck who Instagram likes that week and decides to put it out there.
Yeah, it's like a lottery, of course, paired with some hard work.
Yeah.
So when that happened, did you change your strategy on, now you've got all of these followers? How are you kind of making sure that you're monetizing them? How are you making sure that you're turning them into actual clients?
the engagement does come and go. Like I've had it, like recently I'll have it where I'm all of a sudden all my reels are getting loads of views and loads of likes, and like it tells you on Instagram the engagement. I think I got to 1 million once, and you try and keep it up, and then it obviously just changes week to week. But yeah, I'd say I just tried to keep it up as much as possible. And then I guess just from that, you just keep posting to keep your engagement there, because if you suddenly go off the radar, you sort of push yourself back to square one. So I think when you've got the engagement, just go with it, because you don't know how long you've got it for. It never lasts forever, so you just have to keep going. And then I think like the clients just find you through that. And I guess like the more people that share your posts, the more likely it's going to go on people's explore page, or they might just come across you. Or, I mean, obviously you put your hashtags and you're like Kent nails or whatever you want to put. And then people do search like nails in Kent or nails in London or wherever you are. So I guess just, yeah, doing things like that and just posting regularly is the main thing I would say.
Is that what you've found your sort of non-negotiables are for tagging up? For tagging up your Instagram content and for making sure that you get found? Do you sort of put your location, the type of service?
I saw that the other day someone said hashtags aren't as good now, and it's like you want to put keywords in the caption or the comments, but I just still do the hashtags. I just have a set amount that I do. I just copy and paste it, and it'll just be like what it is, so like nails, where it is. So I'm in Kent, in Bexley, like a couple of different places, but like I'd put Kent, I'd put London. If it's French manicure, put French manicure, because people will search that. And if I'm looking for like, I want holiday nails, I would search in Instagram holiday nails, so put that on there, or summer nails, or I just have a set amount and then I'll add extra ones that I think are relevant to the post.
I mean, the content itself is incredible. I think that's the thing, when you're in such a busy platform in a sea of content, I do think that your work really, really stands out.
Thank you. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by us here at Solo. If you're a self-employed beauty pro, Solo is the booking app that helps you not only manage your appointments, but also build your brand. With Solo, you can create your own personalized booking website where clients can easily view your availability, read your reviews, and even pay deposits upfront, giving them a seamless booking experience and saving you valuable time. With everything from consultation forms to marketing tools all in one place, growing your dream business has never been easier. If you haven't checked us out yet, why not start your free trial today? What do you do to ensure that your work gets presented in such a clear and visually appealing manner?
Obviously the nails themselves have to be done well. For content, I'm better doing my own nails. I find it easier. I'm not doing the actual nails because I find it easy both ways, but taking the pictures, because I can, like, some clients can be quite stiff or like not relaxed or not get the right pose. And I don't want to spend hours trying to make sure their fingers are relaxed if they're like, I just want to get my nails done and go. So I prefer doing it on myself, and then I can put any cute rings I want to put on. I can go in the sunshine if the sun's out. If it's not, I can put it under my lamp. But yeah, I prefer that. And I just think lighting is the main thing, because I'll do a set of nails sometimes and then a client might post it, but it's not the best lighting. I think, that doesn't look anything like the picture I just took with it. So I do think that is a big thing. I mean, some people just post client pictures and I don't know how they get them to look so perfect, to be honest. I don't know how their clients cooperate much better than mine. But yeah, I am better with mine, I think. So I guess that's how, the best way for me.
That's a great tip, actually. I suppose, if you don't wait for a client with non-stiff hands to post your nail.
Or like the perfect nail beds. Like not every client has Instagrammable nails, and it shouldn't matter. You should be able to post them anyway. And sometimes I do, especially if it's a nice colour or I just think they look lovely. But yeah, unfortunately, the ones that do well are the ones that have really nice long nail beds and like their cuticles are perfect, and that's not realistic. But in the same breath, you don't always have time to do it on yourself. I do struggle with that a bit. If you're fully booked all the time and you're doing clients all day, that's your content really. Otherwise, you've got to find the extra time to do your own nails to get the content.
What is your social media routine? Do you have, a set time that you post, a set number of posts that you want to do? Do you think about what kind of thing you want to post?
I don't have like content days. I don't take time out. Like I'm in the salon 5 days a week, full days. I have Mondays off and I tend to do them on a Monday. I'm not that strict with it. I do enjoy Instagram, and I'm quite good at not letting the pressure get too much. I am very like, if it does well, it does well. If I haven't posted in a week, I haven't posted in a week. But I enjoy doing it. So when I've got the time, I quite like to do it. So I probably would say I do my nails once a week, whether it be like on a Friday night if I'm not got any plans, or on a Monday if I'm just not doing a lot, because I quite like to create the content. So yeah, I don't ever plan what I'm going to post. I just see what colour I fancy, to be honest, or what colour I've not posted for a while, or if I've got new colours, I'll always try and do those.
Yeah, that's nice to keep the enjoyment and the joy on in it.
Yeah, I think people get so stressed by it. And I know, obviously, content creators make money from it, but as long as you're busy in the salon, you'd be lying if you said it doesn't boost your ego a little bit if you get a load of likes or a load of views or anything like that. And it's obviously nice to be noticed by brands and whatnot. But I just think if you just keep doing it, you notice anyway that one week they'll absolutely boom. The next week, barely anyone will see them. And it just proves that it's nothing to do with you. They don't get a lot of likes. It's not because it's not a good set now. It's just because Instagram's got a new favourite this week and it's not me.
Yeah, it just shows that consistency is so important. If you come back the next week, you show up again and you might get completely different results. You mentioned being noticed by brands. Do you tag brands in your posts?
Yeah, so I'll always tag any brands I use, which I think is just the best way to get noticed. And if that's something you want to get into anyway, like if you want to work with brands, then the only way really to get noticed is to do a decent bit of content, whether it's like a reel or just a picture of your nails, tag them in it. You're advertising them, aren't you, essentially? So if you've done a good picture, brands will want to use that because it's good advertisement. Or if you just make good content, brands will think, oh, well, we could get her to make a bit of content for us. Or so, yeah, I think just tagging them is the best way, to be honest, to work with them or to get noticed.
Yeah, I think it's such a quick, easy tip to do if you're...
Yeah, exactly. And then if they share you, they'll always tag you back in it. So every little bit of product that I've used, I just tag people.
Easily done and can give you loads of extra exposure.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. Yeah.
Outside of Instagram, is there another way that you promote yourself to clients, or are you very sort of Instagram first?
Yeah, just Instagram, really. I think that's like, does anyone leaflet anymore? I don't know. I've never done that or anything. I feel like that's the thing of the past. If I got a leaflet through my door, I'd be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah, who knows? Might stand out these days because you haven't seen it. So, but I'd be very confused.
Yeah, no, I'm just Instagram. Word of mouth, I would say, is the second biggest thing. I think, especially if you're just starting, like people want to help you, or especially like, I think people love like an independent business. And so I think if someone's come to you and you've just started working for yourself and you're honest, it's always good to look busy. But I think if you're honest in saying, like, I've just started, I'm trying to build my clients up, blah, 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 people want to help you. So they'll recommend you to friends, they'll post you on their Instagram, and that just gets the word out. So yeah, I mean, Instagram mainly, definitely, but I would say word of mouth too. Like a lot of my clients now are either family of original clients, friends of original clients, friends of friends and whatnot. I had one client who, she went to school with one of my clients and they've not spoken since school, but she's got her on Instagram and the client had posted her nails and she just found me through that. So just asking your clients to tag you or just put it on Instagram or whatever. Another good one is if you put a picture of the client's nails, tag them in it, because then they might reshare it and then you're reaching their whole followers too. So
yeah, that's interesting that it even transpires to that word of mouth, the network effect through Instagram. It's word of mouth, but it's still done through Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned word of mouth and client referrals. What do you do to give your clients that extra special service that then makes them want to recommend you to their friends?
I think just being having good relationships with clients. I think you build that up over time. Obviously, yeah, if you've got long-standing, I mean, most of my clients I've had for a long time now, so you just get that good relationship. And again, they then want to help you. But just being consistent, I think it's always good to try and help them whenever they need you to squeeze them in, or obviously to an extent, but that I always think that goes above and beyond. If someone's like, oh, I need to move my appointment and I just can't get in, and you think, well, I could just squeeze you in that gap or whatever, then I always think that's worth doing. Not all the time, and especially if it's the same people doing it, asking you all the time. but it creates that relationship with the client, and they'll do the same for you then. I've had to do it many a time where I'm like, can I move your appointment because I've had something come up, or I don't know, for whatever reason. And most of the time they're always like, yeah, of course, because you just have that relationship with them now. So you want a professional relationship, but in this industry, I think you do have that like friendship relationship too, because it's not a formal appointment, is it? You're professional in the now sense, but you're also just sitting there chatting to people. So it's nice to have that little bond as well, I think.
It can be one of the most beautiful things about being a self-employed professional, but then also one of the hardest, because it can then just impact those boundaries and things like people cancelling last minute, like you said, if it's the same people over and over again. What do you do to kind of toe the line of professionalism and still not letting people impact your bottom line too much with getting too friendly?
Yeah, I think I'm not the best, but I am getting better with, specifically like cancellation policies and everything like that. I was really bad at always being like, oh no, don't worry, like it's fine, I'll let it go. With things like that, I just think if they are genuinely like regular clients that respect you, they will want to pay it anyway. That's what I've learned anyway, more recently than not actually. Like I always think, I better not charge them because I don't want to upset them. I want them to come back. But I wouldn't want a client that wouldn't come back because I've enforced my policy. I think that's a good one. And I always say, like, it's not personal. And actually, before I used Solo, I just never took card details. So now I take the card details. I'm more like, the system's just going to charge you. Like, it feels less personal.
It's the system. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to charge you, but the system's going to do it. But yeah, it feels less personal, I think, when you say it like that. 9 times out of 10, they're all like, yeah, of course, like, I've cancelled last minute. So they don't mind anyway, but I do think you do have to enforce it, definitely.
Yeah, it will also impacts things like price increases. Have you increased your price recently? If so, what have you done there?
I did increase mine this year, I think, only by a little bit. But yeah, I hate things like that. It's always so awkward. And again, you feel responsible for people's finances, and you think, oh no, but what if they can't afford it? And
then you're like, I'm responsible for my finances.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's looking after my finances? Yeah. Who's making sure nothing goes up for me? So yeah, and again, you just have to do it, and you will lose clients because you can't fit everyone's budget, and even then it's not personal. You might have your favorite client might be like, well, you're already at the top of my budget and I'm not going to be able to afford it, and it's not personal. You just have to think, okay, well, it creates a space for someone new to come in that can afford it. And yeah, you just got to do it what's best for you, haven't you, at the end of the day, I think.
Obviously, being self-employed professional requires a lot of you. You're wearing so many hats at the same time. How do you ensure that you still create space for yourself in your daily life and that you don't burn out?
I do think it's very hard to ever have a day off. I don't tend to get too many messages as such on Instagram, especially now I have my online system and everything, because they can just do it all themselves. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I do really long days. I do like 11-hour days. But then I like to do that then. And then Fridays and Saturdays, I do shorter days. Latest I'll finish is 4 on a Friday and 3 on a Saturday. But sometimes even on a Saturday, I'll finish at like 1 or 2 o'clock. I need to do the set amount of clients or whatever I need to do to make the money. But I don't mind doing those long days in the week. If it means Friday, Saturday, I get to do nice short days and it's still the weekend and I can go out with my friends if I want to, or if I just want to come home and chill. Yeah, I think that just seems to be what works for me the best, rather than doing 5 average days.
No, it sounds really good. Have you changed that around recently, or?
When I first started where I am now, I didn't set myself set hours. I just thought, well, I'll have to just take the clients when they come and work whenever I have to work. And I'd end up working 8 till 8 every day. I'd rather get up early and finish early. I don't like working late in the evenings, but obviously people like to come after work. So I said on my Instagram, if I opened up a bit earlier, could my evening clients come in the morning instead? Because like we said earlier, people work from home now. So they can come in, they can be finished by 9 and then can just go straight home. And that seems to work really well, actually. I now start at 7:30. So I'll do 7:30 till 6:30. So it's still a long day, but it meant finishing at 6:30 compared to 8 is just such a big difference. You've got your whole evening. I'd rather just get up, go to work, whoever was in at 6:30 to 8 originally could come at 7:30 in the morning. And then on Wednesdays, I do a later day, and I work till about 8 o'clock, but I'll start a little bit later. So yeah, now I have my set hours, I'd say in the last year or so, and that's definitely helped. I think you have to just have enforced set hours. I think otherwise you just think, oh yeah, I'll just squeeze someone else in, and you're working like 12, 13-hour days, and it's not sustainable.
Again, using Instagram for that feedback from your clients, that's smart. You could sit there and you could drive yourself crazy thinking, will people come in the morning? You just ask them.
Yeah, I do that a lot, actually. And clients, again, they like to help and they like to give their input, because yeah, there's no point me doing that if then all my clients are like, well, I can't come now because I need the evening ones. And then you've just shot yourself in the foot. So there's no point me doing that without checking with them. Obviously, it's not easy to at every appointment just ask everyone what they prefer. I do quite often do like a poll on there or something, because there's always going to be people that say, no, I'd rather an evening one. But it's the majority. And I think I also done one to say, what evening would you prefer? So if I'm going to do one late evening, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday, what would you prefer? Wednesday was the most popular. So I just went with Wednesday. And yeah, but I think that seems to work. And again, people are like, oh, if it helps you to come in the morning, I'll do that. Like, people do want to help you. And I think that comes with the relationship with the client too. Once you've got that, they want to help you and make your life easier. So
again, so simple, so effective.
Yeah.
So what was your biggest fear before first becoming self-employed?
Probably the same as everyone else, like the financial thing. I guess when I first done it with the other girl, I wasn't actually that fearful, I'll be honest. I think because we were doing it together, I'm very much like, oh, well, this will just work, it's fine. And that's not always a good thing, but I think it's just a good thing in the sense of like, oh, well, I'll just make it work. And there was no real reason it wouldn't, because I was like, well, we've got clients anyway, and we know there's the demand for it here. So yeah, I actually wasn't that fearful, but I also lived at home with my mum and dad. I didn't have a mortgage. I don't have kids or anything like that. So I was in a fortunate position, but it's still a risk. Obviously, you're potentially out of a job, I guess, because I'd left the security of a full-time employed job. And especially when you first start, like, you're not going to earn a lot of money from the get-go. So yeah, I suppose just the financial thing of if it doesn't work, what do we do next?
How quickly did you kind of start feeling better about that and think, oh, I think this is actually going to work out?
I would say probably about a month. I don't think it took long. And again, where I did already have clients up there, it didn't take too long for us to find our feet and get it going. We weren't like earning the maximum amount within a month, but we were getting busier. So you think, okay, I think this is gonna work. But you've just got to stick with it, haven't you? I think it's hard work, but if you believe it will work, I do think it will.
Yeah, and it certainly worked out for you.
Yeah, it's paid off, thank God.
Let us move over to our round of quickfire questions.
Yeah.
What is a beauty product that you couldn't live without?
Do you know what? Actually, I got one recently. I got the new, it's a body cream in the new St. Bart's smell. I don't know if you've smelled that, but it is incredible. It smells so good. And the actual like cream itself is really like thick and, oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, the body cream from Wayne, St. Bart's.
Nice. Noted. For the post-summer skin, we need it.
100%.
What is a beauty trend that you're loving right now?
I think I'd have to say chrome nails. Obviously, I'm biased to the nail section, but yeah, they've been around for a couple of years now, but I just love them. I just think they're going to be in forever. Don't get bored of those.
I haven't tried them, but whenever I see them on other people.
Yeah, I love them.
What's a beauty trend that you're not loving so much?
Again, sticking with the nails, I'd have to say, it's not that I don't love them, but ombre nails I cannot do. I'd be happy for them to disappear because I can't do those. So yeah, I love them when I see them, but people ask me, I need to like sit and practice doing them, but I never have got around to it. So when people ask me, I'm like, oh no.
You're like, this is actually going to be going out of fashion very soon. So
yeah, it's not fashionable anymore actually. So stick with the chrome.
Do you have a favourite podcast, favourite book or favourite creator that helps you with business inspiration?
I haven't listened to it for a while actually, but I used to love listening to Diary of a CEO podcast. I feel like everyone loves that. Yeah, I think I used to listen to them around the time I was starting again, or maybe just after COVID. But I always like found that quite encouraging because it's always business owners, isn't it? And how they started. And There's a nail tech called Amy Guy. She's like started this whole like nail tech org. And I mean, I just follow her on Instagram, but I feel like she's always pretty inspiring.
Amazing. And again, somebody that you can find on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
What is one thing that you do every day to keep your business thriving?
The only thing I do consistently every day is Instagram, even if it's just going on there. I think to keep like the Instagram side thriving, you have to go on there every day to interact with other nail techs, 100%, like commenting, sharing. And then you also keep up with the nail trends by going on there. And that obviously helps then with clients. So I'd probably just Instagram, to be honest.
Nice. And interesting that isn't just posting on Instagram, but engaging.
Yeah, even just scrolling. I mean, it is, I know we all say we just mindlessly scroll, but even just interacting with them, and then you get a relationship with other nail techs. You never know where that could lead to, or again, brands and whatnot. So yeah, even just mindlessly scrolling is work.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think it would be to say no more. Again, actually, this ties in with solo. Like before I had my online system, because it was, I had a paper diary, and clients would message me and say, can I come in on Wednesday? And I'd be fully booked. And I'd feel, I could just put them in at 8 o'clock, I guess, because I couldn't say no. So I would just put them in at 8 o'clock and do these ridiculous long days. Whereas now, because it's all online, they don't really ask me. They just see that there's nothing there. But I am better at just sticking with my hours and saying, no, fully booked. You'll have to wait till next week, or you'll have to come another day, or hope for a cancellation. So yeah, I think saying no more, setting boundaries more, and just that work-life balance.
And what piece of advice would you give to others just starting out building their business?
Utilise everything you can, practice whenever you can, post on Instagram whenever you can. Try and get relationships with this doesn't have to be nail techs. If you're in the hair industry or the beauty industry, just if you want to do well on Instagram, then that's where you need to be putting your energy. You need to be creating relationships on there. If you want to get better at doing nails, I just think practicing is the best thing. Doing courses, you can never stop learning. So do as many courses as you can. So many top nail techs do courses now, like accredited or non-accredited. And I just think they're always worth doing, because you learn from their experience rather than just, I'll go do a gel manicure course for the day or however long that is. I always prefer to learn from other people in the industry.
Are there any of those that you've done that you'd recommend?
I haven't done, but there's one, she's on Instagram, the Daily Nail Official, I think it is, Sam. Yeah, she's doing, I don't know if she's still doing them or if I'm not sure, but I would love to do one of hers. But she's up in Newcastle, so I need to go up there. Or Marina, I don't know if you know Marina on Instagram. Her nails are insane, but I don't think she does one-to-ones anymore. Anyone whose work you love, you should learn from them, because you obviously want to learn how they do it because you love it.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And lastly, what tools do you use to manage your business? I know that you mentioned Instagram, you obviously use Solo. Is there anything else, sort of photo editing or anything along those lines?
I do all my editing, like for reels and stuff, on Instagram now, and it's pretty easy, to be honest. So yeah, no, I literally just use Solo for my booking system and Instagram for everything else.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Isabel, for sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Some brilliant tips there, and I can't wait to share with our audience. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast app. If you like the episode, why not leave a review or share it with a beauty industry friend? And if you're curious about Solo, you can download it for free on the App Store or Google Play and take advantage of our free trial.